Hi everyone, this is your host Greg. I ask every future playwright if there's a project of theirs that they want me to plug or mention before the show. This episode's playwright, Kira Rockwell, asked me to cede her time to mention Rosie's Place, the shelter which provides poor and homeless women a way to maintain their dignity, seek opportunity, and find security in their lives. To help out Rosie's Place's holiday season, see rosiesplace.org/volunteer/holiday. And lastly, stay tuned to the very end of this episode, where I will have a special announcement.
Boston Podcast Players is supported by a grant from the Bob Jolly Charitable Trust.
Boston Podcast Players.
The story thus far.
Cast of characters.
Empress of
An
Rome.
entity or demon.
A run-of-the-mill Polish guy in his 40s.
Setting.
In a small hut
A
in the
long
city of
forgotten
Beijing.
era that lives both in the
Act
past.
1,
We
Scene 1.
create the
possible.
world with the stories we tell about
Act 1,
ourselves.
Scene
Because
2.
Steven, he could
Act
be anywhere,
1,
right?
Scene 3.
Don't give up the ship!
Cannon fire.
Bianca pushes the stop button. The end.
Welcome everyone to Boston Podcast Players, Boston's virtual podcast stage for new works by local playwrights. I'm Greg Lamb, the host of the show. Today I'm joined by today's guest host, Pascale Florestal. Now Pascale, you have the distinction of having directed 2 of my plays for readings, so we know you have good taste. Pascale, welcome to the show.
Thanks so much, Greg. So excited to be here.
Now, a moment for local Boston theater intrigue. You were one of the 13 signatories of the open letter to the IRNE, Independent Reviewers of New England, for their annual awards, requesting that they diversify their point of view when it comes to awarding annual awards to the New England theater scene. And almost immediately after the letter was posted, the IRNE sort of ceased doing those awards rather than trying to change. They kind of disbanded. Mm-hmm. Would you like to speak on how this conversation has evolved in your eyes?
Yeah, sure. I think since the Ernie disbandment, there's been a lot of people who feel as though we need to fill the void that the Ernies had within the Boston theater community. And right now there's a group of people, and Stage Source has also taken on the charge to figure out what this new award system can be in the future for the Boston theater and New England theater community. So I'm a part of that group, and there are lots of other theater artists who are also a part of these working groups to figure out what's this next award system we can have. And Stage Source did a great job of sending out a survey to all of the Boston theater communities to see what are the things that they are most looking for, what change are they hoping to see, and what is their desire for this new award system. And so we've all come together, and now we're in these working groups trying to figure out what are the different aspects of this new award system that we want to see changed. So we're literally in this right now. I think we had the meeting about a week ago. And so each of us have been put into a group to really hone in on how we can create the new criteria and the structure for this new award system. So we're hopeful that something new will come up in about a year or so. Myself, I'm working on a Young Critics program with the French Porch Arts Collective to help create more diversity within the Critics Association here in Boston. And I'm working also with the Norton Committee to figure out how we can work with each other to broaden their diversity. So that's where we are now. There's lots of things changing. The Boston theater scene is changing itself. So we'll see. But I think there's a lot of people who are excited for the new change that can happen. And we're just hopeful that, everyone will come on board and join us at the table.
Is there a place to direct attention to anyone who wants to keep abreast of this or get involved?
Yeah, I think definitely Stage Source is the place to go. Don Simmons has been a great leader on this path that we're going on right now. So if anyone is interested, I highly recommend reaching out to anybody at Stage Source. Also, if they want to reach out to me, that's fine as well. But I would really go to Stage Source. They're the people who are helming this big task for the city.
Very good. Now, the feature play in this episode is Kira Rockwell's The Tragic Ecstasy of Girlhood. So why did you choose this show to talk about?
So I'm a big fan of Kira Rockwell. I worked with her a couple years ago at the Fresh Ink Mag Dash, and I had such a great time working with her on this weird little piece that we did together in 24 hours. And I think Kira is one of the up-and-coming playwrights in not only Boston, but in the American theater who has a really good eye on just the stories of women today. I think we're seeing a really big change in theater and the different stories being told. And I think Kira's really been able to hone in the stories of women, especially women of color, and women who are disenfranchised too, and not just in terms of race, but also social abilities, access to certain things. And I think she's really been able to talk about those stories that we really don't get to hear.
She writes about a lot of very vulnerable characters.
Yeah, and I think that's something that we don't get to see a lot, especially in women. I think women have to be strong. There's a lot of these brave, strong women that we see, and I think there's something important to see the vulnerability of women because we all have that vulnerable side to us, and I think she paints it in such a beautiful way that makes us all relate to not just one character, but all the characters.
Is there anything we should know about this play before we hear the excerpt?
I think this play challenges a lot of what we think about young girls. I think there's this idea of young women being fragile and not knowing what the world is. And I think in this excerpt, you get to see like these young women, though they are teenagers, they've really lived a life and have lived experiences that have painted who they are and are really trying to get themselves where they want to be. So yeah, it's a really good glimpse into these young women and to see like their ferocity, their hunger, their desire, and their need to be loved. The Tragic Ecstasy of Girlhood, a new poetic drama by Kira Rockwell. America's Girls, 5 young women.
Charlie, 16, biracial and anxious realist.
Isabel, Izzy, 14, Latina, Mexican-American, Audi's sister, a naive explorer.
Adriana, or Audi, 16, Latina, Mexican-American, Izzy's older sister, a bold general.
Mercy, 15, Black, a strong-willed optimist.
Amber, 16, white, a fading memory.
Place, Central Texas. Time, 2 weeks after Amber's death and 2 weeks before. Set, minimal and flexible on the brink of disappearing. A note about the setting. The girls live in a residential treatment facility that houses youth who come from hard places. Everyone has a different story that brings them here, whether it be unsafe family situations or personal mental health struggles. This is not an orphanage, juvenile detention center, mental hospital, or rehab facility, but at times it feels like it could be all of these things combined into one place. Nighttime, a half moon. Charlie, Izzy, Audi, and Mercy are hanging out in the room. Audi is doing Mercy's makeup. Charlie and Izzy watch.
Don't do too much with my eyebrows.
Hush.
I'm just saying, last time you made them way too thick.
Girl, if you don't quit.
Okay, I'm sorry. Keep going.
Why are you getting your makeup done this late?
I need a new profile picture.
Can you do my makeup next?
No, you're not old enough for makeup.
Y'all, for real, how am I going to get to the bus station before next week?
We'll help you break out.
You're taking the bus?
Yeah, you got any better ideas?
No, it's just admin is gonna follow your trail on a bus.
Get a fake ID. They can't follow your trail with a fake ID.
Where am I supposed to get a fake ID before Friday?
Me, dummy. I got people in the city who can make you one easy.
Yeah, but like, how expensive is that gonna be?
I can get them to do it for free.
Sounds super sketchy.
You want my help or no?
Okay, fine. I owe you.
You still pay me $5 for your makeup though, right?
I already gave it to you.
You did?
Yeah, at dinner.
Oh, yeah. You're right. It's just I've gotten so used to these other girls cheating me out of my money. I'm a business owner. I don't do this for fun.
I'm a business owner. I don't do this for fun.
I know you are all just jealous of my hustle.
Yes, that's exactly it. We are jealous of your hustle.
Careful. I'm the one in control of your face right now.
I love you.
What do you want your name to be on your ID?
Nebula Taurus. Half dinosaur, half goddess.
You're kidding.
What's wrong with Nebula Taurus?
The point of a fake ID is to have it pass as a real ID.
I like Nebula Taurus.
Thank you, Izzy.
Where is this bus gonna take you, Nebula Taurus?
I don't know. I'll find out when I get to the bus station on Friday.
Do you have any other family you could stay with?
My granny is out in Corpus, but I know she'd tell my parents where I was.
Stop moving your eyes.
Your pencil keeps scratching me. Will you use liquid?
Liquid is an extra 50 cents.
Seriously?
It takes more skill to finesse it right.
Fine. It's worth 50 cents to keep my eyelids intact.
Oh, hush.
You could stay with my aunt out in Denham.
I thought you and your auntie didn't get along.
We don't, but she's got a couch you can sleep on, and if you babysit for her while she's at work at the casino, you won't have to pay her any rent.
I hate kids.
She's only got 3.
Only 3?
They're really chill.
No, sorry. I hate kids and kids hate me.
It's a good option.
Where is Denham anyway? I've never heard of it.
It's in Oklahoma.
No, I'm not going to Oklahoma.
Why not?
Oklahoma? Really?
What do you got against Oklahoma?
Nothing. It's just, I can't see myself in Denham, Oklahoma. I'd rather go to Houston or Dallas or somewhere that has a scene, something that I can break into.
You know I'm from Oklahoma, right?
Yeah, I know, and look at how you turned out.
I hope you end up homeless in San Antonio.
Don't be salty.
I don't get why you're being so stubborn. I'm trying to help you.
I know you are, but this is my chance to start over. I have to pick good.
Just be careful at the bus stop. All the pimps in town are gonna try and snatch you up. They fucking love runaway orphans. What? It's true.
Okay, but why do you say it like you know?
Because everyone in the city knows that. Right, Izzy?
Yeah.
See?
Did a pimp try to snatch you up at a bus stop?
Oh my god, shut up.
Oh, did they?
It's not that big of a deal.
But what's not that big of a deal?
Just forget I said anything.
Wait, Audie.
What?
Were you...
A what?
You know what I'm talking about.
Nah, you gotta be more specific.
I heard rumors.
I'm sure you did.
So are the rumors true or not?
Close your ears.
What?
Cover your ears before I kick you out of here.
But this is my room.
So? What do you want to know?
You don't have to talk about it if you don't want to.
I don't care. I think it's funny to watch people squirm.
I'm not squirming.
You can't even ask me the full question.
Did you have sex with guys for money?
Yeah. Anything else you want to get fact-checked while you're at it?
Did your dad pimp you out?
No, it was a friend of a friend. Next question.
How long?
A couple of months.
Are you lying?
No.
Swear to God.
I don't care if you don't believe me.
So it's true.
Any other questions?
No. Not right now.
You can uncover your ears.
You just blew my mind.
That's what he said. Oh, come on. That was funny. Y'all can laugh. Y'all seriously don't make this awkward.
You're totally gonna write a book about your life one day and become famous.
No, I'm not.
You'd be stupid not to. People eat that shit up. You could get the book turned into an inspirational movie.
I'd rather not have people crying tears they don't understand.
My cousin is an escort. She makes a shit ton of money doing it. She's paying for her entire way through college at like a nice ass school in California.
Are you thinking about becoming one?
Maybe. It's like that or work below minimum wage at a drive-thru.
There are more options than that.
Not if you don't go to college.
You're gonna go.
I can't afford that shit. Not yet.
You could become a stripper.
Damn it, look what you started.
Okay, come on. It's not like she's 5 years old.
She's young and innocent and will be young and innocent forever.
What's better? Being a stripper or an escort?
Escort, because you get to handle your own money.
Seriously, child, they need to block Wikipedia from our computer.
I didn't learn that from Wikipedia.
Okay, but here's my question. What does an escort gotta do, if you know what I mean?
Most escorts are hired for their companionship. You know, talking and cuddling, going on dinner dates with really lonely rich people who want to flex their power.
I could do that. I could go on dinner dates with really lonely rich people.
But the real deal is securing your spot as a sugar baby.
What's that?
A one-way ticket to living life like a Kardashian.
Okay.
All you gotta do is find a rich-ass daddy who gives you money in exchange for your loyalty in between the sheets. They buy you all kinds of shit. Jewelry, designer dresses, cars, lofts, boats named after you, vacations all over the world.
Oh, yes. Now you speaking my language.
And the best part? All you gotta do in return is stay super sexy and give them blowies whenever they want.
So how does a fresh little baby like myself find a sugar daddy?
Online, it's that easy.
Mercy.
What?
You're not seriously considering becoming a sugar baby, are you?
Charlie's judging us.
Girl, desperate times call for hoochie measures.
What if you had a sugar mama? Then would you do it?
Why would that change anything?
Come on.
What?
Charlie.
What?
You really want me to say it?
Say what?
You like girls. Look, she's turning red.
I am not.
Audie.
What? It's true.
You're being mean.
See, the thing about Charlie is that she's constantly crying out for her mama. No, daddy. Give her the ultimate mom and she'll melt at your feet.
I don't need a mama or a daddy. I can take care of myself. Always have, always will.
Okay, Batty.
Get out of my room.
Make me.
Y'all stop.
Tell her to back off of me before I lose it.
I'd like to see you try.
Audie, enough.
I was just messing with her.
Give her a break.
Why? Because why?
I mean, because you know why.
She's not the only one who lost someone. Amber was my friend too.
Yeah, I know. Just stop being an asshole for no reason, okay?
Whatever.
Did you say your auntie works at a casino?
Yeah, why?
Well, you know what that means.
No.
I bet there's all kinds of daddies and mommies waiting for me at the casino. Well, hello there, Big Mama. I am Nebula Torres, one of the most sought after sugar babies in the land. I don't need my high school degree. My mamas and daddies love me for who I am and not my educational resume. What is your heart's desire?
Actually, the higher education you have, the better your mama and daddy clientele.
Someone come with me to Oklahoma. Don't make me go alone.
I can't. I gotta keep my record clean so I can adopt this one.
I don't want you to adopt me.
So you want to go back to foster care?
No, I want to get back to our family. We do have parents, you know that, right?
Hush.
She acts like our mom and dad are dead.
You don't understand.
Don't understand what?
Enough, Izzy. Not tonight.
You always say that. Not tonight. If not tonight, then when?
When you're old enough.
You're so annoying.
Charlie, you can come with me. It's your auntie.
She doesn't want me there.
Fine, y'all suck. I hate you too.
You know I would go with you if I could.
Whatever. Watch. When the state suits show up and shut this place down, y'all are gonna be calling me up, begging to come stay with me in Oklahoma with Charlie's auntie and her tiny gremlins. And you know what I'm gonna say to you? Suck it!
What if going home with your family is actually a good thing?
Don't start with me.
I'm just saying.
I know, but I get enough of that from Miss Tanya. No, I can't. I made myself a promise that I never go back to living under that roof. It's not about the way my dad used to hit me, like, come at me, bro, bruises heal. I've got thick skin now. It's all of the, emotional shit that got me down. That look in his eyes when he be yelling at me, hate for me, hate for himself, hate for me for making him become this type of person.
You didn't make him become anything.
Save it, girl. My brain is all wired to believe the complete opposite.
I feel you.
If my dad ever tries to come at me or my mom again, I'll kill him. I swear I will.
Shoot, I believe you. I have video footage of you getting wild on Rachel.
You got that on video.
I sure did.
People can't be coming at my home unit like that.
Your makeup's done.
Oh, yes, honey. I look good.
You're welcome.
Okay, now come to my room and take my picture.
No.
Please, Audie.
You take too many.
Audie, please. The whole point of this was so I can get a new profile picture.
I'll do it.
Okay, but Audie, I still need you to come help me pose. You're so good with that. Please.
Fine. Let's go.
Charlie, are you coming?
No, I'm good. I'm gonna shower and then go to bed.
You gotta poop.
No.
Sure. Watch. She'll take a shower and actually be pooping. She does this all the time. She'll turn the water on so that I won't hear her dropping a deuce.
Get out of here.
Just don't stink it up too much.
Go before your eyelashes fall off.
Audie, Izzy, and Mercy exit. Lights transition. Amber in Charlie's room.
He wants to be a house cat. He wasn't meant to live outside. I want to give him a good home. I'll take good care of him. I'll feed him, give him water, let him sleep in my bed. Unless he can't stay in my room, then he'll sleep on the couch or a chair, or he'll sleep somewhere. I'll even clean his litter box. I know how to take care of animals. Want to see a picture of him? He's so cute. All black with little white paws. His tail's kinked a little because he's a badass cat like that. His name is Freddy Krueger because he's got slasher claws. Like Freddy Krueger. I call him Gur for short. So what do you say, Miss Tanya? Can we give him a home? How was that?
It's too long. Miss Tanya is gonna cut you off.
What's the point? No matter what I say, Miss Tanya is gonna say no to me.
Probably.
What? No. You're supposed to say, no, Amber. She's not gonna say no to you.
So you want me to lie?
No, I need you to encourage me.
She's not gonna say no to you.
Yes, she is.
She is not. You're her favorite.
No, I'm not. Miss Tanya doesn't play favorites. She likes us all equally.
That's something only a favorite would say.
Stop.
You're gonna do great.
This is stupid. She's never gonna say yes.
We should sneak him inside.
No. Then Miss Tanya will definitely have a reason to say no.
Not if she never finds out.
We have to do this the right way and ask for permission.
Fine. But if she says no to you today, then I'll sneak him in tomorrow.
Charlie, I'm serious. If we sneak him in and Miss Tanya finds out, she'll send Gerst straight to the pound. And we both know that no one is going to adopt an old stray with a kinked up tail. I'm not trying to be dramatic, I swear, but he's just so special to me. I don't know what I'll do the day Gerst stops showing up for my leftover oatmeal.
Tell her that.
What?
Exactly what you just said to me.
About the oatmeal?
Yeah, and about how special he is to you. Just speak from your heart.
Okay.
You got this.
Okay. Yeah, I got this.
I honestly don't know how anyone could say no to you.
That was better encouragement.
I meant it.
I know you did.
You better cherish it.
I will.
My dark heart only allows for one encouragement per day.
Oh my God, Charlie.
What?
You do not have a dark heart.
You say that now, but the truth is, I do.
You might have a bruised up heart, but not a dark one.
You just haven't seen the fullness of it yet.
Yes, I have. I see you. I see your light.
Lights transition.
Our featured playwright is Kira Rockwell, a Texas native who has relocated to the Boston area, where she has been produced by Fresh Ink Theater and Boston Playwrights Theater. Her plays create a wide canvas of fully realized characters, among the most vulnerable in society, struggling with their personal issues in the margins of American society. Kira Rockwell, welcome to the podcast.
Hello, thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here. We heard from this short excerpt 5 fully realized voices of teenage girls adrift in the Texas foster care system, navigating their lot life as best they can. How did you come about to write this play?
I actually, before moving to Boston, I was working in a residential care facility that's very similar to the world of this play. And I worked there for about 3 years. And for me, I think this is directly related to after the Me Too movement and after the election of 45. I'm just really thinking about, we've talked about vulnerable women and truly just having a space to have these women talk about their lives in a way that they are not pitied. I think that's very important for me, especially looking at the foster care system and individuals that know this is their real life, is that they aren't pitied or they're not viewed as bad people, especially looking at the way that incarceration is happening and just that it almost seems like if you are in the foster care system, you're being groomed to then be incarcerated. And I think for me, I'm just wanting to have a place where these women can be seen and celebrated, and also to take up all the space that they can and that they want to and that they should, and also show a sense of choosing family. And so I think it was really important to me to have a space where they could talk about what they wanted to, especially not in the presence of adults, and in a space where they can fully be uninhibited in their relationships.
What age would these girls leave the system, and what would they do? Because I don't know, I was trying to figure out, could these girls get jobs if they wanted to, or they are prevented from doing so until they leave?
Yeah, so I know primarily from my personal experience of being at the place that I was at, and for them, this was a place where you are there until you're 18, but there's also an option to participate in housing that's for you till you're 25, which I think is so crucial and important because we have a lot of systems in place for young people and high schoolers, and that transition out of high school and into young adulthood is such a vulnerable time and space. So at the facility that I was working at, they do have the option to have jobs in the community because it was a space where everybody lives there. They go to school in this space as well, and so they are able to hold jobs if they are at like a level within this space that they are trusted to maintain a job, basically.
I think one thread I see running through your work, I also saw Nomad Americana when it was at Fresh Ink, and that was great as well, is your sort of sense of empathy towards young women in precarious situations. Things are broken all about them, but they're persevering as best they can. Is that something that just goes throughout your work in general?
Oh, absolutely. I think it's something that's super important to me, especially I think looking at class and looking at young women that are in like lower class, working class, And I think in this like surgence of like feminism that's like, oh yeah, women can do everything, like we still have a lot that we need to do to help people that are coming from a place that they don't have family money to rely on to like be the boss woman that they want to be. And so I think for me, I'm very interested in exploring stories of women that have maybe a little bit more like hoops to jump through, a little bit more obstacles that they have to kind of like escape. And also like, you know, I think a lot about like generational and like the curses that you're trying to break in your own family and in your own life. And truly for me, like Nomad Americana is a story about a woman that is trying to rewrite her narrative and trying to own her narrative and to walk into a sense of agency. And I think that is something that is so important to me is women going into their own agency and taking ownership of their life.
What are your hopes for people when they see your work? Especially with, I think, Tragic Ecstasy of Girlhood, you really challenge a lot of these systems that are in place in America and in other places to help young people. What is your hope for audiences after they leave the show?
My dream would be that this show is produced in like conjunction with like community partners, and so that, you know, you would have a performance and then right after there would be a post-show discussion, not about the play but about like what they can do in your community, and that sense of like what are, you know, some maybe a foster home that is actually there, or just youth services that are in your own community that you can actually be activated to participate in changing the conversation, and a way that you can connect to these groups that are within your community that you may not even know about. Something that I've been really excited about too is I was able to work with a really incredible company called Third Culture Theater, who is in LA, and they partnered up with Palms Up Academy and the Youth Network Association for Incarcerated Youth. And so they were able to workshop the play at actual young women's facility and actually have the play there and then do a workshop with the women to be able just to like talk and have a conversation. And for me, that is something that, you know, I want the play to be in those spaces, not to try and like get communities to come to this play, but that we actually like go to the community first and give them access to a story that I hope would be able to empower them.
What was it like for you to work with the women like that? Because that's not only you having a play about that, you actually get to be in that kind of space.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, I wasn't able to like be in LA, but the conversations I was able to be a part of, you know, via email, because we have such a wonderful network of being able to like talk and Skype and all those kind of things. But I think working with Third Culture Theater was an absolute dream come true, because I think when they first approached me, they were like, oh yeah, we're about this and like social change and like, and I think for me, a lot of times I'm super hesitant because I think it always sounds like a really beautiful message and a mission statement that probably looks really great on grants, just to be honest. And a lot of times I don't know if I see the work actually happening. And with Third Culture Theater in particular, I mean, they really put their action behind their words. And that truly is just a dream to be a part of. I truly feel like, wow, like thankful to have even been a part of that experience.
I noticed in the play that you focus only on the girls and not on like the administrators, or they're mentioned and they're present and they affect the actions, but they're not characters. So this is interesting that they're not presented as evil or villains, but they definitely can't solve the girls' problems for them.
Absolutely. I think, you know, the conversation is so complicated about these systems and about foster care, and the individuals that work there that are coming most of the time and are coming from a pure place of heart and wanting to commit their life to helping and work against these systems. And so for me, I think I wanted to just have the girls, and that there wasn't an authority figure that they had to submit to. I think young women have to submit to a lot of authority in their lives and have to really like guard themselves and really edit what they have to say or what they talk about. And so for me, I wanted there to be a space where it was just them and also where they could talk about the authorities, because then they're taking agency of the space. And I think, you know, when I was working at this facility, seeing how there were so many rules, especially to where I was working, also had a lot of like religious beliefs that were kind of forced upon the community. And so for me, just always having to remember that these young people, this is their life. This is, you know, this is their point of view, and like this is their space. This belongs to them. We are guests here, and we have been invited to be a part of their life, and we have to earn that trust and earn that relationship versus like walking in and saying, you have to listen to what I have to say, versus seeing like in this play, like you have to listen to them.
Yeah, I think one of my favorite parts of the play is really the camaraderie that you get to witness between all the girls. As someone who like identifies as a woman and feels like those bonds between other women have really been really formative to who I am. It was great to see young women go through that, especially in this situation where we don't get to see young women be in. And I think the way that you set us up to not see the people who are controlling them really gives you that pureness of who they are. There's no one gets to interrupt them in a way that makes them have to be something they're not, because they're just with themselves and with these other people they have to be with. And I love that you talk about that chosen family thing. So I think it's such an important thing we don't see a lot of with young people. I think it takes until maybe when you're older and you're out of college and you're like living your life as an adult. But I think there's such an importance to understanding that young people need those other people outside of their biological families to get them through things that maybe those family members won't be able to understand.
Yeah. Absolutely. And just to a young person who is wanting to break out of their circumstances, learning, that you need those chosen family people to help you and have that relationship outside of just your family that you've been given.
What comes first with you when you think about writing a play?
It's different for every play, which is such a playwright thing to say. But I think for this play in particular, it truly was the conversation between the characters. First scene that I started to write was the excerpt scene that we're hearing, which is just between the girls doing each other's makeup, doing each other's hair, that sense of just being together and, being in community with your chosen family and having the sense where you can be fully yourself. And so it really just started from there and talking about sugar daddies. That was the first impulse for me, was talking about that kind of stuff.
Now we see the girls in the facility. Are they allowed to, you said they go to school in that facility, but are they allowed to leave and then come back later, or are there strict rules about what they can do?
There's definitely strict rules. From my experience in the one facility that I was in, so I was a part of the recreation team, which makes the weekend events, all of the holidays and summer calendars. And so our job was to allow the students to get out into the larger community. So we would go to the farmer's market on the weekends and try and go to the library, very, normal things. So there is that option to go outside of the facility and the larger community, but it's very controlled and it's very supervised. Adults are always present. Gotcha. So yeah, but some of my favorite times was actually on the longer holiday breaks where we got to take students to national parks and go on hikes, and just being able to breathe in large open spaces without fences, with that sense of freedom, of truly being in your own space and owning where you are in that moment.
So you qualify the play as a new poetic drama, which I love. Can you talk a little bit about why you classify it that way?
Yeah, I'm always drawn to poetry in terms of the lyricism of it, and I think of raw emotion when I think of poetry. It's something that I turn to get a deeper sense of a soulful experience. And so for me, when I think of drama, I think in our world right now, the drama genre is usually about families. It's usually very much secrets are revealed and oh no, just someone's dead. Someone is dead.
A murder has to be solved, right? Something large,
all of that stuff. And so for me, I definitely didn't want to classify it as just drama. But I think looking at the poeticism within these young women's lives that could very easily in society, they're written off as dumb, uneducated, not very bright. And so I think when looking at this lens of poetry, I think we're able to see them as very smart, sharp, and very wise women that we're listening to, because I do think their experiences have given them wisdom that we could listen to and we could learn something from, and which I think poetry does for us. It's wisdom.
Yeah, I love that. And I think a lot of things that what I think about the play is all the imagery used for, the representation of Amber as this bird and the different ways they talk about it. And I think even the way that their conversations flow does feel poetic too. Because I think, especially as young people, they're not really going into the semantics of certain things. No. Because they feel it. They feel it so hard. And it's right here for them. So I love that you qualify it that way. So I was just curious to see what your answer would be.
Which I think is all of my plays, it's all about the feeling. Mm-hmm. I'm all about the feelings.
Cool. Now this is set in Texas.
Yes.
I presume that there would be sort of similar facilities all throughout the country.
Mm-hmm.
That this is unique to Texas.
Oh, yeah.
So you came here from Texas a couple of years ago, right?
Yeah.
How did that come about, and how was the adjustment coming to Boston?
Yeah, so I moved here 3 years ago from Waco, Texas. I moved for grad school, and I attended Boston University for an MFA in playwriting. And truly, to this day, I owe everything to Kate Snodgrass.
Friend of the podcast.
Yes. Queen of Boston New Plays. I still remember the day vividly whenever she called me to say that I was going to be able to attend. It was one of those days that it was the best day of my life, truly, in that moment. Knowing that I had a way out. For me, a way out of a place that I felt like there was not a lot of opportunity and there was not a lot of structures in place to pursue the things that I was passionate about, which is playwriting. And I think for me, education has been a gift that I don't take for granted. I am a first-generation college student and also the first in my family to ever receive higher education. So it's something that, again, I don't take for granted. And so making this big move from little Waco, Texas, which probably everybody knows, for two things, either Dave Koresh or Magnolia and Fixer Upper. Those are the two things that Waco's known for. And maybe you might know about Baylor University. Depending, yes. So
Fixer Upper is my 8-year-old daughter's favorite show.
Right?
It's such a good show. You can't deny it.
And the Gaineses are really, truly such kind people. I don't have a bad word to say about them. They are good people. But Waco I could say a lot of words about Waco and just, the community there of things that we need to fix. But I'll save you from all of that. So moving to Boston 3 years ago, it feels like it was 10 years ago. And it was during the election of 45 as well. And so that was I think I'm so thankful for being able to move at such a rocky time and to really see how my family was responding, how friends were responding to this disruption, I think we could all say.
Yep.
And I also moved with my partner, Mark. We've been married for 6 years. And together, I feel like in these past 3 years, we have evolved and changed and challenged ourselves to unlearn a lot of things that were so, I think, ingrained within the society that we have been a part of for so long, being from the South. And I think even in my writing too, that's something that's very important to me, is to wrestle with the South and Southern culture, but do it in a way of empathy, because there's a lot out there right now that usually the villain has a Southern accent or they're dumb as shit. So it's
from somewhere in the South.
Exactly. Yep. And I don't know how helpful that is. And so I'm very interested in a conversation that makes some people uncomfortable, but potentially maybe challenges them to invest in unlearning something and thinking more deeply about maybe that they are wrong. And
there's a woman in the writing group who is from San Antonio, but she hasn't lived there in 20 years. But her instinct is still to set things she's writing in San Antonio.
Wow, so I love it.
Do you envision that, carrying that with you wherever you go, even if you're not living in Texas for 20 years, to still think about setting whatever you write in Texas?
It's something I've been thinking a lot about lately. I think right now that is my impulse, is to write about Texas and for Texas, and not even Texas, but just Southern culture, specifically Southern white culture. And that's very important to me. But I do hope to one day, like, in write in different ways. I want to allow myself to give myself permission to write whatever I want and not limit myself to just writing about Texas, and see what's out there to play with. Like, who knows, maybe I'll write, like, you know, a sci-fi drama.
Here for
it's
it.
It's going to be on, you know, out in the nebulous, who knows.
The Nebula Taurus.
The Nebula Taurus. yes.
Could apply for the Boston Project, which
You never know. You
Yes.
never know. You could
Yes.
totally do that.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah, actually, you know, I've thought about it too. What is my agency to write now? About Boston. Or what's my agency to write? Anything, honestly.
Real.
But
could you talk to us about your current play that you're working on, that you were just working on recently?
yes.
I'd love to hear the people talk about that. Yeah.
Oh, great. So I'm currently writing a play that's called Oh, to be Pure Again, which really explores purity culture. And when I say purity culture, very much connected to like true love waits, the abstinence only, and kind of like the Baptist evangelical whole agenda to preserve young women's purity. And that your virginity is what defines you and is your currency, and to set up, you know, a good future for your life. So, because I was not raised in a religious home, but when I was in high school, I definitely found the church when I needed it in a time that really did save my life. So I look back on those times not regretting it or ashamed, because I knew I needed it then in the community that I found then. But I'm also looking back, being 27, looking back on that time of when I was 16 and I was wearing a purity ring, and I was like so scared about my desires as a sexual being, and afraid of securing a good future, because I was raised to believe that, you know, if you stay a virgin, then that means you're going to have like the most amazing, perfect marriage ever. And God will bless you and all of these things. And so I wanted that. I needed that. I was like, okay, if I do these things, if I follow these rules will secure the perfect future for me. So this play is really, it's looking at all of those things. And it's set at a summer camp. And it follows the senior cabin of girls. And it just really looks at their journey trying to connect to something larger, because there's just something magical about being at camp.
Yes, there is.
You know, and summer camp and all those feelings, and you're like literally in nature, and like all of these nature sounds are going off because all of the like insects and animals are having sex with each other. So that's like what is in the air, truly. And you're getting to like swim in bathing suits.
And it's summertime. It's summer love. Everyone wants a summer fling.
Oh my gosh,
it's the most romantic time.
Absolutely. So I'm very excited about it right now, and, you know, really diving into the play, and excited to see how it grows and evolves.
So I was looking on your list of notable events that have happened to you in 2019.
Yes.
There are 7 awards, honors, and nominations that could each lead off a playwright's resume page. We're talking stuff like Elliot Norton Award, the O'Neill Conference semifinalist, winner of the Association for Theater and Higher Education Judith Boyer Award, and others. Is there anything that stand out for you, this whirlwind of honors you've received in 2019?
Yeah, which I'm so grateful and thankful. I think it was a really good year, and I know that won't be every year, so I want to embrace it and love it and really cherish it. I think one of my favorite moments was being the second place recipient of the Paula Vogel Playwriting Award, because Paula Vogel is so crucial into my playwriting and really just my way into the theater, because How I Learned to Drive was that play, and it's coming to Broadway.
Yes, thank God. Thank God.
Right, finally.
Oh, I can't wait.
I cannot wait.
I love it. It is everything to me.
Yes. Yeah, that play truly, it changed my life, and it made me want to write for the theater. So I think for me that was super special, because I posted a picture on Twitter, and I was like, hey, Paula Vogel, thanks for changing my life. And she tweeted me back, and it was just, like so magical. But then...
Oh, I remember this.
So the Huntington produced Indecent, oh my God.
Amazing. Oh my God, so great. Every minute of that was amazing. I just can't.
Yeah, it was riveting. And Paula Vogel was there, and my good friend Ivy Ryan, who was working at the Huntington at the time, she invited me to opening night party
where I got to meet Paula Vogel.
I witnessed this moment, and it was such a beautiful moment to see you meet, and then I met her after you. I was like, okay, great.
Yeah.
This day is best ever.
Truly best ever. And like, I'm just so ready even thinking about it right now.
So
Because
great.
and she was so kind and so gracious. And you know, you always hear don't meet your heroes. But Paula Vogel is truly the most kind and gracious person I've ever met. And she like made the conversation about me, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, no! Like this is your opening night, Mama. Like we are gonna celebrate you,
just everything." Oh my god!
So it was amazing, and I got to like share that moment of like, I won an award attached to your name, and she's like, "So now that means you can't quit. You're in it for the long run." And I was like, "Yes,
that's your motivator.
That is my motivator.
It's a good one. It's Paula Vogel.
Exactly. I promised Paula Vogel that I wouldn't quit, so I can't.
Good. Great. Thank you, Paula.
Paula, we know you're listening.
We are. We love you.
What are your ambitions for the next couple of years?
Yeah. I was really fortunate to be a runner-up for the Princess Grace Award, which is also a fellowship with New Dramatists. And for me, so I kind of like am thinking in those terms of where can I find like artistic homes? And so thinking about the next 5 years, I'm thinking about playwriting in terms of the long run career. I mean, really being intentional about setting up a practice for myself to dive into the work and really put the work first. And, you know, now that I'm out of academia, I'm really trying to pursue opportunities that are within theater communities that can help really develop my work in a way. And I would love to see my plays produced more.
Yes, like let's get them produced.
Every playwright wants that. And so I would love that because, you know, for me right now too, especially thinking about girlhood, I think that there's been some really great readings that I've had and has been like really helpful in its development. And now I'm thinking about like trying to protect it to make sure that it doesn't get caught in development hell and wanting to find a home for it.
Has the Boston Playwrights Theater production been the only like full production of it?
I had that, and then I also was working with Third Culture Theater, who did the West Coast workshop of it, which was really great and helpful for its development as well. So it still is eligible for a world premiere. So that would be great. And, you know, Boston Playwrights Theater is a home that I feel very loved by and supported by. But also, you know, just in the way that our world works now and being able to communicate and travel to each other, like wanting to, I don't know, like I'm thinking a lot about like Broadway and New York and being someone who was from a place that we didn't have that. We didn't have Broadway, maybe in the bigger cities like Dallas. But trying to think, how can my plays reach the middle of America? Because I want that to happen too, and not just for my own ego to have like, because of course, like I would love to have like a Broadway premiere, whatever. But I think for truly like my sole purpose, wanting to reach places that might not be so fancy.
I love that.
You obviously have a good play submission game, given these honors you've received. But I noticed you can submit to a lot of places for a first production, and then after you have one, there's not like a structure for, you know, the second and third.
Right,
and it's sort of,
which is potentially going to be a better show, the
Yeah.
second and third, because you got to work it all out.
Exactly.
In
So
the
it's like,
first production.
what's that next step?
Yes, absolutely. And I have a friend and collaborator, Stephanie LaBolt, who was in Boston for a very long time, beloved Stephanie LaBolt, who's now in graduate school at DePaul, getting her MFA in directing.
Yes,
so go
good.
Stephanie,
Woo!
because we know you're listening too. That's something that she's in conversation about, like what is that second premiere, and being a director for her, she's saying like I want to be that director that really champions that second premiere.
Right.
So yeah, I'm curious about that conversation, and you know, the National New Play Network and the whole like rolling world premiere. I think that's a wonderful language. And recently somebody said like, hey, you can also use that language. They don't like copyright
It shouldn't just be them. Right. That's real. That's a good point.
That can also, they're trying to introduce language and vocabulary to help new plays, not just have that one play or one production. So let's see more like rolling world premieres.
Yes,
everybody.
Yes.
I would love to see a submission call for saying, to be eligible, you must have had, 1 to 3 productions.
Right. That's it.
Yes,
Right,
let's see that.
Like, theaters always say, okay, we opened this call and we got 1,000 submissions and now we're swamped and now we have to charge for it. Well, what if you say, we want the play that has already been done once or twice, and then bring to us. So, Stephanie LeBolt, you need to start a sophomore theater company.
If you need help.
Ooh, I like the sophomore theater company.
Yeah, you specialize in, second and third productions of
I love that.
new work.
Yes.
So,
that's great.
I will, donate, $20 to you when you
Great.
Oh, me
do
too.
this
I'll match
endeavor.
that.
I can definitely do the match as well.
Oh,
Yes.
there we go.
Perfect.
$60.
That's $60 budget for this.
That'd be great. Awesome. Anything else, Kira, that you're excited about? I know you have the play that you're working on now, but any other projects or plays that you're still thinking about in your head?
Yes. So I'm actually I have a play that I'm thinking about right now. I don't want to give too much away
Totally
because it's still fresh and close to my heart. But what I'll say is that it's about people who run a haunted house.
Ooh.
And
Perfect for Boston.
Exactly.
Great.
Exactly, right? And it's the perfect weather to be writing this play right now too.
Yes.
Which excites me. And I'm really into the word spooky right now. Also that show Los Spooky.
I was just gonna say that. It's so funny.
It's
It's so great.
Yeah, and I always love a good Band of Misfits story.
Yeah.
So it's a really fun world that I'm kind of exploring right now and trying to figure out
Cool.
what it is and what we're saying. And
So you're thinking about the type of haunted house that really goes for the scare?
oh yeah, well, and so okay, I'll say this too. So because this is also good for New England, it's also involved. The theme of this haunted house is the Winchester Mystery House.
Ooh.
Okay, so
yes.
Sarah Winchester,
I
who
visited
inherited.
that this year.
You did?
Yes.
Oh my god! Tell me all about it, because I'm reading about it. But you visited the house?
Yeah, so we were on a trip to the Bay Area, and I was looking for things for my 8-year-old daughter who's easily bored to do. And we went to that, and it's a sort of 70s color palette of sort of beige and wood and all that.
Classic.
And just keeps going on forever, and there's the stairs are just very gradual because the old lady was old and she was getting harder and harder to walk. So it was
but there's staircases that lead to nowhere, right?
Yeah, stairways nowhere. There's the first staircase you go to, it has 12 beds. It's like a maze.
Jeez.
And it's just very gradual ramping staircase, and it just curly cues on itself.
Wow.
And just random stuff from door to door and from place to place. So,
yeah.
It was pretty fun. It's right next to, it used to be its own grounds. That's how you picture it in your head. But it's stone's throw from a strip mall.
Oh,
wow.
Whoa.
Classic. Love that.
That is so funny.
Just in case you need one. It's
yes,
right there.
capitalism.
So it's
Perfect. So now you have a dramaturg.
I know, right?
Great.
I visited once.
But it's so interesting because, Sarah Winchester inherited all of this money from the Winchester rifle. So all of this money that I think it equates to $5 billion in our money today.
Great.
Because of guns and war and
sounds about right.
But she used this money because at this time she was a widow and didn't have any kids. So she used all this money to make this house and just kept doing random stuff to this house that she was building. So for me, I'm wanting to combine us talking about guns in America and also trying to explore people who run a haunted house.
Yeah.
So, it's a very light comedy.
Love it. Love it. Yeah. That sounds like so much fun. Let me know when you need a director.
Great. I already have a dramaturg,
They did make a fairly low budget and probably not that good horror movie in the mystery house that they sold in the gift shop.
Yes. I've read reviews. People did not like it, which is just so sad. I mean, people are so mean. We think theater reviews are hard.
Oh, I believe that.
Movie reviews are cutthroat. They got awards for being the worst movie, and they got nominated for being the worst actor and worst actress. I'm ouch.
Damn. All right, film. Just go for the jugular. Literally.
Right?
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, there are a dozen podcasts about bad movies.
Here we are.
There we go. Right? Oh my gosh, I
gotta go find them.
Podcast with, talking about bad theater. I would just cry.
Oh my god, I hope I'm on one. No, I don't. I do not hope that.
If there was, it'd be Broadway bombs. It's not like
oh my gosh, actually, that's hilarious. Broadway bombs.
I mean, if there were a podcast about that theater, it would have to be.
Yeah.
It would have to be Broadway. I mean, can't really do regional.
But could you imagine, though? That would be hilarious.
Right?
Regional bombs. Oh, that'd be so freaking funny.
There are some really that regional.
Yes, there are. Hence, oh my god, I'm here for that.
Great. A lot of hurt feelings.
Yes.
Yeah, so I think we are nearing the end of our conversation. One question we like to ask every guest is, what contact, what email or phone call would you most like to get from someone listening to this podcast right now? What is your dream scenario?
My dream scenario is that someone emails me at kirarockwell@gmail.com or calls me. I won't give my phone number out right here. No. But calls me and is like, hey, play sounds great. I want to produce it. I want to do the world premiere. Let's go. And we do it. That would be a dream, and they hire Pascale as the director and these amazing actors that we had today in the room. Because we're ready. Here we go. We got everything for you.
Yes,
so just call me up right now and let's make some theater together.
Yeah.
7 different awarding bodies has named this play as award-worthy.
Yes.
So
more to come. So let's do it.
More to come, yes.
And for people who want to know more about you have your websites.
Yes, www.Kira, K-I-R-A, Rockwell, RCKWELL.com.
All right. Well, Pascale and Kira, thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Greg.
Thank you so much.
To everyone listening, support new plays and support local playwrights.
The Tragic Ecstasy of Girlhood was written by Kira Rockwell and directed by Pascale Florestal. Charlie was played by Tatiana Chavez. Izzy was played by Tatiana Gill. Mercy was played by Tonasia Jones. Audi was played by Stephanie Castillo. Amber was played by Olivia Cote. Stage directions read by Pascale Florestal. Follow us on Twitter at BossPodPlay and on Facebook. Please rate us on iTunes or your podcast player of choice. You can support us on Patreon at BossPodPlay. Our theme was composed by Thomas Deus, thomasdeusmusic.com. Additional music by bensound.com. Other than yourself, do you know of a Boston area playwright who you'd like to be featured on the show? Let us know at bosspodplay@gmail.com.
Hi, everyone. I started Season 2 of this podcast as an open-ended endeavor. And after this episode, we're going to take a brief break. I'm putting together another panel episode, similar in scope to the early career playwright special we had earlier, but that will take a few months to put together. Hopefully I'll be able to put it out in February or March. Follow us on social media to keep track of its progress. But after that special episode, I'm bringing Season 2 of Boston Podcast Players to an end. I've been privileged to have featured 18 amazing playwrights in Season 2, and 26 playwrights overall over the first 2 seasons of the podcast. They have been all levels of experience, points of view, and background, and I think I've demonstrated what I set out to do when starting this podcast. The pool of talent among playwrights in the Boston and New England area is remarkable, and if you're a theater and you're not looking for ways to take advantage of that talent pool, you're doing theater wrong, in my opinion. Now, as to a Season 3 of this podcast, that is a bit up in the air. I will be stepping away from being the main host of this podcast. I think I've said most of the things I wanted to say through the course of these 2 seasons. Now, I've been talking to some people who are interested in producing a Season 3, but we'll have to see how that goes, both in terms of when and if we have a Season 3, and how ambitious that season would be. We are interested in hearing from people who would like to get invested in the making of this podcast, whether you're interested in helping put together episodes, helping out on social media, helping out financially, or even hosting episodes. I'd love to see the Boston theater community come together to support this endeavor and help it grow. If you're interested in taking part of the future of this podcast, email me at bosspodplay@gmail.com. I'm happy to discuss all aspects of making a podcast like this. We have barely scratched the surface in terms of putting the spotlight on the talent in the Boston area. The to-do list for this podcast is dozens and dozens of playwrights deep. We'd love to hear from you. And to everyone listening, support new plays and support local playwrights.